those following the EU negotiations, the Brexit negotiations with the UK, will know that the area of state aid is one of the most contentious issues. The EU's level playing field focuses on areas like state aid because it wants to restrain Brexit competitive advantage, i.e. the British government being able to do things that other governments can't because they're restricted by EU rules. So the EU very keen, although of course they've always said there are no benefits to Brexit, the Remainers say that, the EU said that, yet they are the ones of course pushing for the level playing field. Now there was an announcement yesterday that I'm going to go through which basically showed the UK going WTO, as I know many of you want Brexit Britain to do, on the area of state aid, despite of course the EU in these negotiations seeking to get the UK to sign up to their so-called level playing field, including on the area of state aid. So before we get going, if you enjoy my reports, remember, help this channel out by giving a big thumbs up, click subscribe and click the bell, and let's get into this. So the government set out plans yesterday for new subsidy control is the term that was used. The UK will follow WTO subsidy rules after the end of the transition period, of course, at the end of this year, with the government promising they will not extend that period. The UK, however, said on Wednesday it would not tell the EU about its detailed plan for a post-Brexit state aid regime until next year, in a move that has prompted anger in Brussels. Yeah, that's right, the government are actually moving a bit dynamically at the moment in negotiations, and it certainly isn't going down well in the EU. It's certainly compared to when they were dealing with Theresa May's pushovers. Business Secretary Alok Sharma said the design of the UK's new subsidy regime for companies would not be finalised until after a public consultation, including with business, due to be completed in 2021. For now, he said, the UK would follow subsidy rules set out by the WTO, the World Trade Organisation, from the 1st of January after the expiration of the Brexit transition period. The UK will follow WTO rules after the end of the transition period. So the government revealing setting out their broad approach. From the 1st of January, ministers confirmed the UK does not intend to return to the 1970s approach of trying to run the economy or bailing out unsustainable companies. Point one. Point two, clear guidance on WTO rules will be published before the end of the year for public authorities and devolved administrations. Point three, business will have the chance to comment on the design of the UK's own domestic regime of subsidy control next year. Isn't that a radical thought? British business having the chance to comment and contribute to the UK's own domestic regime of subsidy control, of state aid rules. The UK will follow, as I said, WTO subsidy rules after the end of the transition period. The government confirming that the UK will adhere to any international obligations on subsidies agreed under future free trade agreements. Now, it just sets out as well, the WTO rules are an internationally recognised common standard covering financial assistance granted by governments and public authorities to companies. Unlike EU member states, most advanced economies do not have substantive rules regulating subsidies beyond those set by the WTO. The EU state aid rules are and again, this is from the government. The EU state aid rules, they describe, are a unique set of comprehensive legislative subsidy controls in which it is the responsibility of the European Commission to police against subsidies distorting competition between EU member states within the single market. But from the 1st of January, of course, the UK will no longer be bound by those requirements and will have the opportunity to design its own subsidy control regime in a way that works for the UK economy. And that is what I say when I talk about competitive advantage. A subsidy regime in the national interest. It's called competitive advantage. Business Secretary Alok Sharma saying, we want a competitive, dynamic markets economy in which we can back British industries to create more jobs in this country while also making the UK the best possible place to start and grow a business. Sharma saying, while our guiding philosophy remains that we do not want to return to the 1970s approach of picking winners and bailing out unsustainable companies with taxpayers' money, the UK must have flexibility as an independent, sovereign nation to intervene to protect jobs and to support new and emerging industries now and in the future. Well, who could argue with that? This is what I'm talking about with competitive advantage, guys. This is what you can do, unconstrained by the European Union rules. He goes on, as we take back control of our money and laws from the EU, we have a unique opportunity to design our own subsidy control regime in a way that works for businesses, workers and consumers. Over the coming months, the government say they will work closely with businesses and public authorities across all parts of the UK to assess how we can best use these new freedoms. Guidance will be published before the end of the year for public authorities, which explains the WTO rules and any commitments on subsidies agreed through the UK's free trade agreements. There will also be further legislation to remove redundant EU state aid rules from the statute book at the end of the transition period, providing the necessary legal certainty for businesses. Now, this hasn't gone down well, as you may expect, with the EU, because of as I reiterate again, state aid is one of those areas where they are clearly petrified of Brexit competitive advantage, and yet we hear, to their vast credit, that Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, and Dominic Cummings are both absolutely insistent and focused on this big potential Brexit competitive advantage if we refuse to sign up to EU rules. An EU official attacking the announcement on state aid as provocative, given that the issue is still being negotiated in the trade negotiations. A EU official quoted as saying, given the fact we've been waiting for details since March, that's tantamount to taunting us. Well, look, the EU clearly not happy about the UK gaining this Brexit competitive advantage. And this is why it's so important for the UK to resist attempts to have this elements of EU policy control thrown in, lumped in with a trade deal, and why the UK must walk away if the EU does not drop those demands. Of course, another interesting aspect to this, in terms of the WTO, the World Trade Organization, is that Liam Fox is actually the UK nominee for Director General. Of course, Liam Fox is a committed Brexiteer. He really campaigned for it, someone who really believed in Brexit. And he's Brexit Britain's nominee for Director General of the WTO. So there you have it. This is a story that didn't get as much, anywhere near actually, as much attention as the internal market bill yesterday, which of course has provoked controversy and a lot of discussion. But this, the UK going effectively WTO on subsidy rules, on state aid rules, after the end of the transition period. Of course, this all relies on there not being a stitch up last minute, the British government not rolling over, but signs at the moment that everyone from David Frost, Dominic Cummings to Boris Johnson have no intention of signing up to EU rules on areas like state aid, particularly, of course, given the coronavirus crisis, given the economic situation, given the fact that the British government will need the freedom to do what is in the national interest, and whether you're for or against what they do, you judge it after they've had the freedom to do whatever they see fit at the election. It's called democracy. It's something that has been massively boosted by our leaving the EU. And as ever, guys, let me know what you think in the comments about this. Do you think the government are going to hold out on this, or do you think we're just simply going to have to walk away from the EU with no deal? Let me know what you think. And as ever, if you've enjoyed this report, please give this video a big thumbs up, click subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next report. Thanks for watching.